Hey y'all, Dirty South History coming at you. Um, I wanted to kind of comment on the recent events that happened over the last few days uh, in this country. The fact that a conservative commentator um, lost his life violently in Utah on September the 10th. The fact that the President of the United States ordered flags lowered at half mast to the end of the weekend in relationship to this person who was Charlie Kirk, and the backlash for people who are speaking, um, I guess, against his death, or actually, I guess, commenting on his death, but not in the tone that some of these conservative people in power would like to see. People actually are losing their jobs for speaking their minds about how they feel when a person who considered himself a free speech absolutist, when they commented on the way that he lived and did not, you know, show, I guess, the proper respect as compared to how the conservative movement feels that they should have, losing their jobs behind this. It's crazy. It's interesting to me. The other thing that's interesting to me is this person, Mr. Kirk, died on September the 10th. The President of the United States had the flags lowered on September the 11th through the weekend. And there was virtually no coverage in the media about September the 11th. The flags weren't flown at half mast for the 3,000 and what some odd Americans that lost their lives for doing nothing but going to work. They were flown at half mast for a private citizen that, by his account, was a provocateur. He spoke his mind, and the funny thing to me is how interesting it is, the divide in this country, because the conservative right is praising this man for being a good Christian patriot, a white Christian patriot. Some might say a white Christian nationalist. Okay? But he was white. He professed to be a Christian, and he professed to be a patriot. And that, for people on the right, absolved all the other stuff that he purported to be and say. He is mine, just reading his statements and whatnot, he appeared to be a white supremacist, okay? And he appeared to be a homophobe. He appeared to be sexist. He appeared to be a lot of things that half of this country would find offensive, right? But when you speak out about that half that is offensive to a large group of people in this country, you lose your job for it. And nobody is saying that these people who are commenting on this man's death in a negative way are entitled to their free speech rights. Okay? Now, listen, I'm an attorney, and private companies can pretty much, set their own policies as to who works for them. All right, with certain, restrictions and what have you. Fine, but I just saw where a dean at Middle Tennessee State University lost her job for talking about the hate mongering that Charlie Kirk would spread. And basically her post on her private account was basically saying, you reap what you sow. That's what she said. Middle Tennessee State University fired her. But get this, they were an award-winning university for free speech on campus, right? And it is a government actor. And their policy, if you ever look up the Middle Tennessee State University policy on free speech, it's like we encourage debate and open expression of different opinions, except for if you work for them and if you speak about a white Christian nationalist dying at the hands of another white person. Okay? Mr. Kirk made a living off of talking about the deficiencies in black culture. And one of the main things that he liked to harp on was black on black crime. That was one of his main talking points. Okay? And it's ironic that Mr. Kirk lost his life at the hands of another white man. All right? Most likely, well, we know that this man was raised in a conservative household. I guess he had conservative family values, you know? And this man was the one who contributed or actually caused the death, allegedly, of Mr. Kirk, who was very critical of how black people raise their kids with their values. So I find that to be interesting, but not really, because in this country, if you are a member of a certain race, you are most likely to be the victim of a crime by a person of that same race. By and large, black people are the overwhelming victims of crimes by other black people. But guess what? White people are overwhelmingly the victims of crimes by white people. And if there is any crossover between the races, oftentimes it goes in a way that Mr. Kirk would be surprised. Okay? But nevertheless, you know, I'm not celebrating the death of any person, you know, and me personally, I don't believe in public executions. And I certainly don't think it's appropriate for children to watch somebody be publicly executed. So I could not condone Mr. Kirk's public execution in front of his children. I think that's a bad thing. But again, if you read Mr. Kirk's comments, he seems like he was okay with that kind of stuff. So just something to think about. This is actually indicative of the history of this country, believe it or not. Because what's happening is the backlash against African American people because of the death of a white man by another white man. There are images out there shortly after Mr. Kirk's death where these commentators and news media people were talking about waging war on liberals, waging war on the woke. And usually when they talk about woke, they're talking about people that look like me. And that is the nature of the United States of America. Just something to think about. Dirty South out.